This is episode 33 of the Online Playmaker Sessions with young lifestyle entrepreneur, world traveler, and speaker Carolina Millan from Chile.
Welcome to the Online Playmaker Sessions. This is the place for the latest what's working now strategies from the best online playmakers, the top marketers, the rising stars who are making it happen right now. Every week, you'll get real, actionable lessons that you can take and apply immediately in your business, delivered in short 20-minute sessions. Our focus is your results. Here's your host, entrepreneur, world-class trainer, and marketing strategist, Norbert Orlowitz.
Hello, Online Playmakers. If this is your first time tuning in to the Playmaker Sessions, thank you for choosing us, and don't forget to subscribe to the podcast on iTunes, and if you prefer video, our YouTube channel at onlineprofitplaybook.tv. As with all of our episodes, we have all the show notes, transcripts, and actionable tips over on the blog. Just head over to www.onlineprofitplaybook.com. You'll also be able to get access to my complimentary 5-video tutorial series on building the proper foundation for your online business, as well as several other free trainings, including my Instant Income Multiplier tutorial. And if you're ready to multiply your results fast, check out the premium membership of our Online Profit Playbook, where our guests open up their closely guarded playbooks and walk you step by step through the exact marketing funnels and sales process they use to build their audience, grow their influence, and make sales. Get the coveted Online Profit Playbook today. Just head over to onlineprofitplaybook.com and join the Playmakers. Carolina is a young serial entrepreneur, world traveler, speaker, and digital marketing strategist from Chile who started her first business in 2008. She was able to escape her corporate job in 2010 and since then has been building multiple businesses, helping entrepreneurs and small business owners from around the world. Carolina has also taken all of her digital marketing experience and has now worked with big brands in South America, assisting them with their social media and digital marketing strategies. Today, Carolina gets to travel around the world, speaking on stages to inspire people with her story and her knowledge, hosting her own masterminds, and helping people build their businesses online the right way by leveraging their passions and building their personal brands around what makes them unique. This week's Online Playmaker, Carolina Millan. All right, welcome back, everybody. Episode 33 of the Online Playmaker Sessions. And today we have a very special guest all the way down from South America and coming to us from Chile, Carolina Millan. Oh, man, I butchered it. And I thought I was going to get it. Carolina Millan, how you doing today?
You got it. Hey, Norbert, I'm doing awesome. How are you?
Really good, really good. I'm going to keep that in. I'm not even going to edit it because I think it makes it fun.
It's part of it, yeah.
Exactly. Carolina, this is a pleasure. It's going to be a fun time with you here. I've been looking forward to meeting you in person, but unfortunately, we're going to have to settle for a digital conversation here until we actually get to meet in person at one of the events. But let's get started here. Let's jump right in because I know everybody's really eager to hear your story and your experience and some great wisdom that you can share with us to help everybody in their business. So first of all, Carolina, why don't we go back a few years to the beginning and share with us how you got into online marketing, because I'm sure it wasn't something that you decided as a child that you wanted to do. So tell us a little bit of the backstory.
Yeah, I guess kids today maybe when asked, what do you want to be when you grow up? Some of them will probably say, oh, I want to be like Mark Zuckerberg. But that was little, that didn't exist yet. Well, I got started in the online world. It was back in 2008. Before that, I never would have imagined myself doing any of this. I've always been, I still am a little bit, always been a very shy person. I used to be very, very, very camera shy too. Who would have thought I would end up doing videos for a living? But yeah, so back in 2008, I had just graduated from university. I went to university like most people do, at least middle-class people in Chile, most of them go to university. And I studied business, actually studied a career called business engineering. That's what it's called here. It's kind of like business administration, but the difference is we also learn calculus and all this stuff. That's why it's engineering.
Ooh,
but we never, it was a lot of fun, but I'm never going to use any calculus. But anyway, I graduated. I went looked for a job, as anyone, and I found a job in human resources. So I started working in the recruiting department in a company locally here in Chile. And about 6 months into my job, I started getting a little bit uneasy. Like, do I really want to do this for the next 40 years?
Wow, it only took you 6 months to start getting uneasy, hey?
Only took me 6 months. I was 24 and I started thinking, when I'm 65, because here you work until 65, am I still going to be doing this like in a cubicle with a boss and restricted holidays and all that stuff? And then it was funny because the timing was great. A colleague approaches me with this business opportunity, an MLM company. Mm-hmm. She's like, we did all these projections in three years. We will be making this much money, and we can buy an apartment and a condo, and in just 3 years, if you just recruit one person per month, and that person recruits one person per month, and so on, we're all going to be rich or something. It sounded easy, right? Like, of course I can recruit one person. It was terrible. I signed up. It was September 2008. Signed up. Went to one of these meetings. They teach you all the thing. This is the product. This is what it does. Blah blah blah. So we got started with that, and a couple months into it, I discovered it wasn't as easy as she made it. So I went to Google. I realized she had no clue what she was doing. She told me make a list of friends and family, the usual. Mm-hmm. It's not a myth. They do actually tell you to make a list of friends, family, and people you ever talk to in your life. So I made the list, but it didn't work. So when on Google, I researched. I don't even remember. I think I wrote MLM or multi-level. I don't know what I wrote because I didn't even know what the word lead meant. And then I find all these videos by Ann Sieg and Mike Diller and all these people talking about generating leads. And I'm like, what is a lead? Really, I had no idea what it was. Wow,
yeah, brand new, green.
Totally. Brand new, like a new English word for my vocabulary. So I looked up what a lead was. And I was, a lead is a prospect. Oh, interesting. Yeah, I want more prospects. So I got on their lists, started getting their emails. And that's how I started. I was getting Mike Dillard's emails. I was loving his emails. I got his magnetic sponsoring ebook by the end of that same year. And that same year, that's how I got on Twitter as well. I started doing social media because all those guys were saying, hey, you need to get on social media. Okay, I'll be on social media. I didn't even have Facebook at the time, I think. So I got on Facebook. I got everywhere. And then that's how I started. In the end, what happened was I tried to implement what they were saying into my MLM business, but I was afraid of investing in traffic. So I went the long way, which is branding yourself, positioning yourself, and all that stuff. I started blogging. I started doing all that. And then I started to make a reputation for myself, and people started to actually come to me and ask me, hey, how do I do Twitter for my company? People locally here. How can I get more followers? How can I do this and that? Hey, that's great. Maybe I don't need to do this MLM thing anymore. So I quit that in 2009. And then by mid-2010, I quit my job because I was finally getting enough people asking me how to do Twitter. So that's what I started doing. In 2010, I started doing social media consulting for entrepreneurs locally, for brands. And I started doing a little bit of public speaking as well, locally too. And I made my first videos. At the time, I was doing everything in Spanish still.
Yeah.
And then I started doing my first videos on YouTube where I actually showed my face. That was really scary. And then it wasn't until 2012, while I was doing all this thing with the clients, with the digital marketing agencies here in Chile, I kept thinking, you know what, there has to be a way for me to make money on the actual internet, because I found myself working with local clients, so I was still kind of depending on that. And even though I was doing something that was, you know, social media, I still wasn't making money from the internet. And right. I knew I could do it. And during all that time period, I kept buying courses and trainings and from Jonathan Budd, Mark Hoverson, everyone. And it was in 2012 that I finally cracked that other code. And oh my God, and then I made my first $100 through Mob. And that's when it skyrocketed. And then I went back into you know what, I'm going to do this in English again. So I started doing it in English.
Awesome. So that's quite a journey there. Those 4 years from 2008, where you got started, you know, exploring entrepreneurship. Then 2009, you come online. Now let's talk about that little process there, you know, where you first come online and you're brand new, you're totally fresh. You don't even know what the word lead means. Okay. And you're starting to consume all this information. And I know that there's a lot of people listening that might be able to relate to those beginning stages. And you know how it is. There's a lot of information, especially today. There's so many experts out there right now, so many courses, so much training going on, so many social media platforms. I mean, the options are limitless, right? Mm-hmm. So maybe share with the people listening right now, what was that process from getting started, consuming all this information, and then finally getting to a place where you actually started to create some results and people were coming to you. You were actually generating leads and interested prospects, right? Mm-hmm. What did you focus on to start to create results and get out of the information overwhelm?
Yeah, I'm still overwhelmed by information though.
Yeah, we all are. We all are.
Yeah. I'll tell you a secret, it never ends.
Yeah.
But you can at least choose some of that information actually put into practice. Yeah. What I first did to really start getting leads was writing an ebook. That was the first thing I did. I realized that I was downloading other people's ebooks, and this was probably in 2010, late 2009, early 2010, that I wrote my first ebook in Spanish. And then I started getting leads, like maybe one lead a day. I mean, it was just sitting there on my blog. And then I also discovered, okay, if I can get more people to my blog, then I'll get more people to download this ebook, and I'll get more leads, and then I'll grow my list, and so on. So that's another thing I did. I started blogging a little more consistently about, you know, anything that interested me and that I thought would interest my potential customer, my ideal audience. And then the next thing that really helped me skyrocket a little more, because this is all organic, and I do depend a lot on organic sources nowadays. I mean, most of my YouTube traffic is organic. People just find my video, they watch it, they like it, they send me an email, they opt in or whatever. But when I finally decided to, okay, let's take a little more risk here, let's put some money into this, was in 2012 when I started doing Facebook ads. And at the very beginning, I was just sending people to affiliate links, because in 2012 you could do that.
Oh yeah.
You could put an affiliate link on Facebook and they wouldn't ban you, and you could do anything. I wish I had spent more money back then. I didn't know what was going to happen. And then I started following up. I think for a while I just wasn't following up. Like, I was getting this opt-ins, and they were getting like a welcome email from me, and that was it. I wasn't blasting them. I didn't have a follow-up sequence properly set up. But then when I started doing the Facebook ads, I realized how important it was to follow up and to actually get in front of people's faces, because that's the only way that they're going to remember who you are and react to what you are sending them eventually. I mean, I see so many people that, you know, I talk to people all the time, and I ask them, okay, what did you do? Yeah, well, I sent a solo ad and I got this many opt-ins, and I don't know, nobody bought.
I'm hoping some sales come from it.
Yeah.
You hear that?
Exactly.
I'm hoping some sales come in.
That word, the hope, the H word.
Yes. The awful H word.
Yeah, terrible. Like, you cannot, you know, I mean, of course, we always hope for good things to happen, and that's good to, keep your hopes up, but you cannot depend only on hoping. So following up really made a difference. I started just emailing the list, telling people to, get on Skype with me or to reply to me. And people started to do that. People started to reply, and I started talking to people, which was something, and then I was also a little bit scared of actually getting on Skype and picking up the phone and calling somebody. But then you realize these people are, they're requesting to talk to you. So it puts you in a different position. You have more authority, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
So that made a big difference for me, from going from a couple hundred to the thousands per month, just making yourself more known. And then of course content, following up, but then also having content, making videos, blogging, being on social media, and just sharing value, not just a bunch of crap or copying and pasting from other people, but really creating your own content. That's made a huge difference for me.
That's huge. And what's really interesting, and I've interviewed, quite a few people now, quite a few marketers, and marketers that, they promote different things. They have different strategies. Some focus on free strategies. Some are very heavy into paid strategies. Some do solo ads, some do Facebook. But what's really been interesting is that every time I ask marketers what was their big breakthrough, 9 times out of 10, it has something to do with creating content.
Yeah.
So, I mean, hands down, and I say this over and over, I feel like a broken record, but if you want to break through in your business this year, you need to start creating content. So let's talk a little bit about that, Carolina, because you've done a lot with specifically video marketing and blogging for years now. What are some key things to focus on? And I like what you said, that you need to create quality content. You need to kind of like make it your own. What do you mean by that? What is the guidance that you give to your students, to your clients, when you get them to start creating content?
What I tell, first of all, is important to know what you're good at, of course, because when people try to create content based on something they're not confident about, or they're not good at it, you can tell, it comes through in the video, it comes, in your voice or in your body language, that you're not really sure what you're saying, or that you just memorized the script. So that's one of the first things I tell people, is you need to be really natural, and it really needs to come to you. You cannot be reading or memorizing a script, which is not the same as having bullet points. You should have some bullet points. You should know what you're going to say, but memorizing something is, I always tell people, don't do that. Don't memorize. And then the second thing is knowing who you're talking to. So what is it that you like, that you enjoy talking about, that you're good at? And then who is going to be consuming that content? Or have you defined that audience? Do you know where they live, how old they are, where do they work? Like very, very, very specifically. And most people say, yeah, sure, my avatar is between 25 and 45. And no, that's not an avatar. That's just a demographic group that you've chosen. The avatar needs to be a lot more specific. You need to give it a name, Google a photo, put a photo to the name. And what are their hopes, their dreams? What are the brands that they love? What magazines and books they read? Do they listen to podcasts, or they prefer video, or do they commute to work? What car they drive, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So when you have that a bit of a clearer image of who you're talking to, and then when you talk in front of the camera, you just picture those people listening. And some people tell me, well, I feel silly talking to myself in front of the camera. I feel like I'm on my own. And I tell them, what I do is I imagine that inside the camera there are people there, watching, paying attention, and not judging you or anything. And then coming up with the ideas for content. I mean, if you really know who that audience is, and then you can make a list of books. And the beauty about Google and Facebook is that you can go and research. If you don't know all the book authors in your head, you don't have to. You just go and look at what people are searching and reading. You can go on Google Trends, or you can go on Facebook ads, use the Audience Insights tool, find more gurus related to the couple gurus that you already know. And, I didn't know this guru. Okay, then I'll talk about this guru or whatever. And then just owning the content. So for example, if you're reading a book yourself, which you should, and there's a chapter in that book that really impacted you somehow, make a video about it, or write a blog post about it if you're more comfortable with blogging. And that way you basically never run out of ideas. And sometimes I don't upload a video for a couple of weeks because I have so many ideas I cannot choose, or I record too many videos and then I don't know which one I should edit and upload. So, well, that's a good problem to have, I guess. But it really is that simple, and people overcomplicate it. They think that to create content, it has to they have to wait for some moment, like getting illuminated, or I don't know. And it's everywhere. Like a blog post by somebody else, you can just write your own take on that blog post. I mean, there are just so many ideas, and then just put it out there. Just create it and upload it and share it. Otherwise, nobody's going to read it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that, that's where the taking action comes in. And, like you said, you had never done videos before. You were shy to get out there as well, but you only get better by taking action and getting out there and doing it. And that was the same with, like you were talking about, follow-up and getting on the phone with people. It's the same thing. Mm-hmm. It gets easier and easier, but the only way to do it and the only way to improve is to actually just take action and allow yourself that time to get better. Now, the next thing I want to ask you about is you did a lot of free marketing strategies for a long time with blogging, with content, with video marketing, and you say a lot of your traffic comes through organic traffic, which is free traffic. But then you got into Facebook pay-per-click ads, into paid ads. So what was the transition? What happened in your business that gave you the confidence and allowed you to move forward with Facebook ads, where before, for years, you were too afraid to get into it?
Well, the first type of paid traffic I did, and then I don't know why I stopped doing it. Well, I actually still do it, just for different things, was Bing. So I remember putting an ad on Bing,
okay.
Like, I don't know, February 2012 or something. For this specific company, for Mo, as an affiliate. And so I put an ad there, and I started to see the money being spent and no sales coming in yet. So I started to freak out. And I remember, I think I spent about $700 until I finally made my first, at the time it was like $99 commission or something. But I didn't focus on the fact that I spent $700. I focused on the fact that, hey, finally I got a result here. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter how big or how small. It doesn't matter how much I had to spend. I got a result here that now I can leverage. Now I can share this result. And then I made my first testimonial video, which is still on YouTube. It's terrible, terrible, terrible. Terrible lighting, terrible sound, everything. But I was sharing with people how, I made my first $1 on the internet, and they can do it too. And when I got that confidence from that point that if I put money into this, I just need to fine tune it. I'm not going to spend $700 and make $100 every time, but it was good for a beginning.
Right.
And then I discovered, I remember buying a course by Jonathan Blood at the time on Facebook ads. And I just, one day I sat down and said to myself, okay, it's time to go through this course, because I was buying courses and not going through them. I'm
sure there's some people that can relate to that.
Yeah, sometimes I still do. Sometimes I'm, oh my God, I have this course. Oh, I forgot to go through it. But I went through that course, and then I decided to put up my first campaign, my first Facebook ads campaign. And that started to work too. I started getting leads. I used to send people straight to an affiliate link, as I said before, and then I realized I should probably put an opt-in page first. What is an opt-in page? And then, of course, I started to research what that was, because everybody was saying, oh, you need a squeeze page. Some people called it a lead capture page. Some other people called it an opt-in page. So I'm like, okay, what is this thing? And then I got my first opt-in page up, and I started generating leads, which was wow, it was like discovering fire or something like at the time for me. And then I started emailing these people, and I remember I did some solo ads as well here and there. I was trying different traffic sources, and I think what really took for me to take that step and feel a little and not be so afraid of spending money on traffic was getting that first sale, because I had proof that it worked. And when you have that confidence, when you have that proof, it becomes a lot easier. Now, some people say, well, I don't have my first sale yet. How do I get confident? And I tell them, well, look around you. There are a lot of people in your same situation. And there are a lot of people who are getting sales. So you can still leverage other people's results as long as they are real. Just make sure they are real and not fake screenshots or something. And that should give you the same confidence. And then your own sale is going to come, because if everybody waited for their first sale, nobody would ever get a sale. You have to take that leap of faith. So that's what I did.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I mean, it can be hard and challenging, to get into that. So how important do you think paid traffic is in comparison to free traffic as well? Like, now that you do both, how important is paid traffic in your business?
In my specific business, I would say I'm still in a phase where I need to spend more, obviously. But I realize how important it is. I was telling you when you first called me, I said, hey, I've been traveling, so I kind of paused my campaigns. And then I saw, hey, you know what? I paused my campaigns. And of course, I'm getting less leads and of course, less money. So I realized how important it is, because the organic sources, they're nice, of course. But it's really hard to scale those sources. Like, of course, you can make a video a day, but some people say, yeah, I'm going to make a video a day. And then at some point they stop, because it's hard to keep up with that. But with paid traffic, and which is good, it's something that you can also outsource, once you really have it figured out and you understand it yourself, so that, when you outsource it, those people don't take advantage of you because you know what they're doing. It's something that is scalable. And so every time I don't have any paid traffic running, I immediately see the difference. Like, there's still money coming in, there's still leads coming in, but they're not as predictable as when you have paid traffic running, because that is predictable. If you manage to, at least track the basics, you don't need to go crazy on the tracking and overcomplicate everything. You just need to know where the lead came from, which ad brought which lead. And that's a really good start. If you know that, then okay, let's put more money on that ad, because that ad is bringing the leads. And okay, I got a sale. Which ad that generated that sale? If you can track that, and you can with most affiliate programs, and even with your own products and services, then you're at the other side, basically. So I would say it is really, really important.
So so it's predictable and it's scalable. I think those are two really important things that everybody needs in their business: predictability and scalability. That's huge. Yes. Okay. Yes. Let's we're moving quick on time here. Let's talk a little bit more about follow-up, because I think that's a big area where most marketers online completely drop the ball. If there's two areas to improve for most marketers, number one, it's creating content. And then I think number two is follow-up. So let's talk a little bit about follow-up, because for you, there was that personal journey of, oh, geez, I guess I should follow up with these leads that I'm generating. So what was that process like for you? What did you start doing? And you already talked a little bit about what you started doing with follow-up, email autoresponder, broadcasts. What do you do today to create those sales, to actually convert, prospects into buyers?
Mm-hmm. Well, of course, I still do. Well, I would say number one for me is still email for the most part. And then the second is mostly Skype and Facebook chat. A lot of people will just add me on Facebook and just ask me about the business or my services, or whatever it is that they discovered that I'm doing, that they want to learn more about. So email marketing is still probably one of my biggest sources of follow-up. I always have a call to action, or almost always I have a call to action at the end of each email where I invite people to reply, whether it's me that replies or if I have an assistant that replies. I tell people, the important emails I reply myself. Even if you don't have an assistant, doesn't matter. You want people to see that you're in a position of authority, that you're somebody who is serious about it. So sometimes I engage with people over email. We start emailing back and forth, and then usually that ends up in me telling them, add me on Skype, or give me your Skype, I'll add you. And then we take that into a chat, hopefully a call if you have the time, or sometimes people don't even have time to call, but they're happy chatting with you, saying that you're a real person sitting there, not just a virtual assistant or an automated response. And people really do appreciate that, that human touch, that honesty. So that has worked really well for me. And then I don't usually, I do recommend it to some people. I don't pick up the phone and cold call, for example. That's not something I ever enjoyed, even though I told you I worked in human resources. Unfortunately, I had to do that at my job, just cold call candidates and see if they wanted a job. But then for some reason, it's hard to do it for yourself. See, I could do it for my job, but then when you have to do it for yourself, it's harder. But some people really do. They don't mind. They love it. Okay, then go ahead and get people's phone numbers when they opt in and just call them. Sure. But it's a lot more powerful when they raise their hand first and they say, yeah, I want to talk to you. Then that gives you the confidence that, hey, they really do want my help and I don't need them. They need me. So when you are in that mindset, it becomes easier to conduct the call or interact with the people. Mm-hmm. So those are probably the two main strategies I use. I haven't really explored, I did it for a couple campaigns doing text messaging, short message, SMS. I tested that with a couple campaigns, but it's not something I do all the time. Then another thing I have implemented for some time is having a chat on your blog, this little chat service. I switched now to another one, but I was using one called Snap Engage, and now I'm using one called ClickDesk, I think. And sometimes people just visit your blog and there's a little chat box popping up. Hey, how can I help you? You could pay an assistant to do that, or you can do it yourself at certain times of the day. And some people would be like, are you really, Carolina? And I'm like, yeah. Wow. It's funny when you have that reaction from people. Yeah. That's another really, it's a powerful tool, having those little chat boxes in your site. Voice messaging, and there are plugins for everything for people to just raise their hand and follow, and then you can follow up with them. But it's crazy. The majority of people, they just send traffic. They have this follow-up sequence, automated follow-up sequence there, and they expect that to do all the work. But sometimes you just need to get out there yourself, or if you have a team, get your team out there, follow up.
Make those personal connections. I think that's key, really key. Okay, mm-hmm. Carolina, share with us. Your life has changed a lot since you were stuck in that cubicle for those few months after you graduated, and maybe for all the people listening, what's been the biggest thing that you've gotten out of running your own online business? What do you love the most about it? And what's one of the things that you're so grateful for having your own online business?
Well, one of the main things I'm grateful for is the being able to have a better lifestyle, not just for me, but my family too. Being able to support my family, my parents. I don't have kids yet. But I do support my immediate family, and having this confidence that that you are in control, having that little that control that, hey, if I need to make more money next month, I just need to just develop a strategy, just put up a campaign, develop a new product or a new course, and knowing how to get customers, it makes it so much more predictable. I'm really grateful for, not being tied anymore to a specific geographic place. Yep. Geography, I don't know. And being able to travel. Traveling I've always been very passionate about traveling ever since I was a teenager. And being able to do it for sometimes I travel for a conference, but probably 60% of my travels are not for work or because I just love to travel and I want to go to a concert or I want to go visit a friend somewhere. And being able to do that is also a blessing. It's also something I'm really grateful for because I know I know that all I need is an internet connection and my computer, and I can still get the business going. It's just a gift. And of course, the other thing is all the wonderful people like yourself that I get to meet. That without being in this environment, I wouldn't have ever met. And the people in my everyday life, like my childhood friends or university friends, all those people they're just so different. It's like they have jobs. It's harder to relate, unfortunately. So it's nice to find so many amazing people out there and make new friends and new business partners. And I'm also very grateful for that. And just giving back, being able to give back to the world and to other people, helping them at some level. Feels
That's
great.
Awesome. That's profound. That really is. It really is profound. The impact that we're able to make, no matter where we live, what country we're in, and the fact that we're able to impact lives all around the world. It's really, really powerful. Mm-hmm. So Carolina, let's wrap this up. But before we wrap up, can you leave our listeners and viewers with 3 tips, 3 key mm-hmm. tips? People are looking to make a breakthrough in the next 90 days in their business. What do they need to focus on? 3 key tips.
Mm-hmm. Number one, well, it's a lot of what we've been talking about. Probably number one is facing that fear that you may have of people rejecting you or I put this article out there, nobody read it, getting over that stuff. Because my first article, no one read it either. So who cares? My first webinar, that's probably one key tip I can give is start doing a webinar. Host your first webinar in the next 30 days. Prepare for it, send traffic to it, get 100 people to register. 30 people will show up, and I'm sure you can close 40, 50% if you do well. My first webinar, nobody showed up. I think, sorry, I have a little bit of a cough here. I think my first webinar, I had like 1 person show up, and they left or something. But I kept doing it. I just kept going. And I recorded it, and then I watched it. And then I was not happy with it, so I re-recorded it on my own without an audience. I pretended there was an audience, and I just uploaded it to YouTube. And it's got like 5,000 views or some people are still watching that thing. So do a webinar, host a webinar. Webinars are really powerful, and it's another tool that I've been using in my business. Probably not as often as I should, but the last few webinars I've done, I've gotten really, really great results, always closing sales. Do webinars and get on the phone with people, get on Skype with people, even if it's a Facebook chat or WhatsApp, or just have personal contact with a couple of prospects every week. And sure, some sales will come through your follow-up sequence. Some sales will hopefully come through your solo ad. But it's so much more gratifying when you get to talk to the person and actually sell them something that is going to help them do it yourself. It does feel really good. So don't be afraid of that. And number 3 would be content, generate content. Choose 1 or 2 content strategies. Don't try to do everything. Don't try to have a podcast and a YouTube channel and a blog and, everything. Choose 1 or 2. In my case, what I do is I do a lot of video, and then I grab the video and I post it on my blog, and then I add a little paragraph about what the video is about. And then you have 2 strategies in one. You're blogging, you're video blogging, and you put it on YouTube. So then you also have content on your YouTube channel, and you also have content on your blog, and you send people back there. always be sending people back to your own website and not just sending people straight to YouTube. You want to get that traffic in your own media, which is your blog. That's your place. Nobody can shut that one down. But yeah, that would be it. Webinars, content, talk to people.
Awesome. Love it. Great advice. Keeping it simple. I love the way you keep things simple. You know, there is so much to know and learn online, but it really comes down to some basic fundamentals. And it's exactly what you're sharing with us here today. So really, really good. Carolina, thank you for being here. Really grateful and appreciate you coming on here. I know you're dealing with a bit of a flu after all your traveling. And traveling around the world. But so thanks so much for doing this.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah,
it's been a pleasure.
I'm sure everybody has learned a lot. And we really, really appreciate it. And again, like I say at the end of every single episode, apply what you learn here today. Carolina's given you some very specific tips, some very specific strategies as to what she's doing that's working for her in her business. And all you need to do is actually apply what you learn in your business. Get out there and do it. Take action, and then share with us your results and your testimonials. And we look forward to that. Carolina, thank you again. Look forward to our next interview for our premium members, where you're going to walk us through some of the things that you're doing in your business. Actually walk us through the process that you're taking to generate leads and create sales. And everyone, I hope you enjoyed this episode, and we will see you next week for another session of the Online Playmaker Sessions. Everybody, take care. Have a great day.
I hope you enjoyed this week's Playmaker session. If you love the session, subscribe now to our YouTube channel so you never miss our weekly episodes. Be sure to also subscribe to the podcast on iTunes. Just type in Online Playmakers in the search bar and click subscribe, and be sure to leave a 5-star review. All of the episodes, show notes, transcripts, resources, and bonuses are available on the blog over at onlineprofitplaybook.com, along with several bonus free tutorials I've created for you as well. Your fast track to results is to follow the Playmakers. You can download their closely guarded playbooks and follow them step by step to grow your influence, build your audience, and create results in your business right now. Head over to onlineprofitplaybook.com and join the Playmakers to get full access today. Thank you again for joining us today, and be sure to tune in next week as we bring you another power-packed session with the top Playmakers online. This is Norbert Orlowitz signing off.